Before we start, just a quick reminder. The views and content shared on this podcast are for entertainment purposes only and are not a substitute for professional advice. Please check the full disclaimer in the show notes for more information.
Welcome to Self-Centered, the podcast that's all about you. We're your hosts.
I'm Allie, a therapist and life coach.
And I'm Katie, a fitness coach and personal trainer. We know what it's like to feel burnt out, taken for granted, and like your life revolves around everyone but yourself.
By learning to trust yourself, prioritize your needs, and set healthy boundaries, we help you break free from guilt, overfunctioning, and toxic patterns that keep you stuck in relationships and a life that doesn't truly serve you.
Join us each week as we dive into the tools, stories, and mindset shifts you need to create a life that centers you.
Because being self-centered isn't selfish, it's essential. So today we're going to talk about how do you make friends as an adult?
A grown-ass woman, man, or non-binary person.
A grown-ass girl, gay, or they, or he. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how do you make friends as a grown-ass adult, why it's so hard, and how to do it anyway. So Katie and I have goals to create new friendships, find new friendships, and deepen maybe some existing friendships. And it just feels so much harder to make friends in adulthood, and it is harder. So today we are going to talk about that. We're going to validate your experience if you're in the same boat. And then we're going to talk about some concrete research-backed ways that we can get out there and find some people to be friends with us and to do it without burning out or becoming the therapist friend. Even if you're not a therapist, you might have become the therapist friend, especially if you're listening to this, because you are probably a big-hearted, compassionate, loving, caring person. And it can be really easy to get out of your seat and take care of people, overfunction, and end up in one-sided relationships. So we also want to talk about how do you avoid that? So let's get into it. So it can be really hard to admit, like, I do feel a little embarrassed. I mean, I don't really agree with the embarrassment I feel. Like, I don't think I should be embarrassed, but I do feel a little embarrassed being like, I'm looking for friends, because I feel like I just don't feel like a lot of my friends are looking for friends, but I think that's because they're married with kids.
Yes. And before we get too in depth with this, I was actually talking with a friend I'm trying to become closer with recently about that specifically. Mm-hmm. And her observation was, because she and her husband decided, 7 years ago not to have children, 6 or 7 years ago, whenever it was. It was just a random thing, because they were observing all of their friends who ended up having kids. And this is not a knock on kids. This is just an observation that they had. Your life changes, and we'll talk about that. But they were observing that all of their friends who ended up having children lost all of their friendships because their life became about managing kids and trying to keep up with being exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, parenting is so hard. Kids are
It is such a huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
Massive. And I commend the people who do it, because you really do have to want it to make that investment. But yeah, that was their observation. They're like, damn, we don't want to lose people, and we don't want to lose ourselves. So they decided not to have kids for their own sake. But even since they made that initial decision, every single time one of their friends ends up getting pregnant, they're like, it's kind of a countdown timer. We still invite them. We still try to connect with them. But they watch this fall off experience of, the friend of we totally want to be engaged. We totally want to be there. Totally want to connect. And then obviously they go ghost for a while with the baby situation of we are in the hospital having a child, and you try to connect and bring meals.
We are trying to survive. We are sleep deprived. We are zombies.
But then they don't recover. It's such a bummer. And so I think this episode at the same time is equally as important for the parents out there to remember, hey, don't lose your friendships.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think we should have someone come on, though, to talk about that. How to not lose your friendships. Because you and I don't have kids. So I don't think we can speak to that. And there's legitimate,
hurdles.
It's effing hard. Yeah. So I don't think that the reason that parents lose their friendships or because they want to lose their friendships. Like, I don't think it's a
100%.
motivation thing, which I know you're not saying, but I guess like, I don't think that you or I can speak to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe we can find someone. If you are a selfie who has kids and you have managed to maintain friendships in your social life and you want to come on and talk about that and give some advice on that, then please reach out to us because we would love to do that episode. It makes me feel better hearing your friend talk about that because I guess for me, I don't know, I'm in this. Okay, I just want to talk a little bit about my experiences with my social life. So before 2020, before the pandemic happened, I was in a relationship and we were both really committed to maintaining our social lives, which is great. And I was hanging out with my friends. He was hanging out with his friends separately. And then we were hanging out with our friends together. And I remember being like, I can't keep this up. Like, I'm too busy. I just can't do it. I also think that because of the season of life I was in terms of my career, I was just exhausted and didn't really have much to give socially. And I wish that I had that kind of situation right now with the way my life is, like working remotely and working for myself because I'm not burnt out. And I am like totally craving that kind of connection. But at that time, it just wasn't a fit. And I remember being like, I don't know how to do this. Then the pandemic hit. And I remember in the beginning when we were all staying home and not seeing anyone, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I needed this. And I remember for several months feeling that way. And then it was like, this is awful, especially because I'm no contact with my family. So everyone has their pod and I wasn't in a pod because most people were in pods with their families or I think it was mostly their families, honestly, and their partners and like stuff like that. And also my closest friends had young kids. So they were like, yeah, we're not. So I literally was just isolated in the dark, cold winter, you know? And I remember it being Thanksgiving and just being on my own, you know? And that's part of why I wanted to move to California because I was like, well, at least if everything is shut down and I can't see anyone, I can be outside and it won't hurt, you know, because just being inside is hard. And then since then, I've worked remotely. So I haven't seen any of my clients in person, which is fine. Like I can do that myself. But since then, I've worked remotely. And also just because of the age that I am, there was this like natural transition that I think would have happened anyway, where, how old was I? In 2020, I was 32. I was in my early 30s in 2020. So all my friends were like in their early 30s. And so they're all like getting married or already married or having kids or already have young kids. So they were starting to get super busy. So I think that would have happened anyway. But for me, it was like so busy. We're hanging out all the time. And then pandemic. And then a lot of people actually just ended up being like, well, let's just have kids while we're, you know, in pandemic. Like there really isn't anything else to do. So then it was like once it came, like I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see my friends. And then once it came to you can see your friends, it was like, completely different. Like we're not hanging out like we used to because now they're in a completely different season of life. Yeah. And so now I feel like I'm in this situation where I feel like I have to like start from scratch if I want to hang out with friends regularly. I guess want to bring that up to say like as much as I feel embarrassed, even though, again, I don't agree with that embarrassment. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with me, but like, I do feel embarrassed because most other people don't seem to be looking for friends. I don't know, selfies, will you reach out to us and just let us know? Like, message us and be like, maybe we'll put a poll on one of our posts, but are you wanting to make new friends? Like, what is your situation in life? Like, are you married or like, are you in a long-term relationship or not? And like, does that inform how social you want to be? Do you have kids or not? And does that inform how social you want to be? And like, what are the barriers to like, I do want to hear from you because it's just such a weird time in life right now. Mm-hmm. So, and like we said in the last episode, loneliness is not good. So
yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything that you want to say about your like to give context for where you are, because you do want to, so you self-isolate and you want to stop doing that.
Yes, definitely. I definitely want to stop self-isolating. One of the things, and this has been literally my entire life, I have always like worried about what people thought about me, and I never built a lot of very close connections. I was the kid growing up that was liked by everyone, but not known by everyone. So it was like I could be in any social circle, but I wouldn't be invited to those because it wasn't
you weren't
a deep enough
on the
connection.
team.
Yeah, exactly. It was like when I was there, people were like, "Oh yeah, she's cool." Like, yeah, we, enjoy being around her, but I wasn't close enough to any one person to be like, "Oh yeah, you're invited to the sleepover." Like, right? And there were some of those moments that did happen and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool," but also I feel so out of place.
Yeah.
Because I'm not close enough with these people. And because that was literally my entire like,
and then you feel awkward, right? And then that just makes you feel, I don't know if it's shame, but like you kind of like wanna, I don't know, because if you were liked but not known, you probably weren't putting your true self out there, right? And so that probably reinforced that, like, oh, I shouldn't put myself out there because look, I feel awkward. Like, just be normal.
It was that, yeah. And I like, especially growing up as a kid, I really didn't know like who I was.
Yeah.
Like I was still trying to figure a lot. I mean, as kids you are, like that makes sense. Yeah. You're growing, you're maturing. You don't know who you are. You're trying it out as you go. But I really struggled to like clarify that. And because I didn't feel accepted in any one area, I didn't really like deep dive into that. And so when I did finally become accepted in something, for me, that was religion. I became accepted in, as a teenager, like at 15, 16. Then I went headstrong into that, whether entirely aligned with my beliefs, my core beliefs or not. And so then there's that, like, what's the word?
Dissonance.
Yeah, it is dissonance and like masking and that sort of thing was happening a lot for me. So even though the relationships were closer then, they weren't authentic relationships and they couldn't actually see me. Because I didn't put myself out there like that, because it was like, okay, well, I had to put a mask on so you didn't see the full version of me.
Yeah.
So there was like a really weird growth dynamic. And this continued on until mid-20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like truly until like almost right before I met you.
And then I remember, I think I actually didn't meet any of your friends, but well, I mean, I met someone you were dating.
Yeah.
Wait, no, did I? No, I don't think I did. Well, I mean, some of the people that you're friends with were like clients and stuff, so I met them.
Yeah, and COVID was such a weird time, and that time of my life was also such a weird time, because again, I got divorced like
right
how long?
Before,
it was like a year and some change before I met you, and I've mentioned this before, but I lost a lot of friendships through that.
Right.
And again, not the worst thing in hindsight, being 2020 and being like, oh, being 2020. That was also during 2020. But also thinking about it and knowing that, okay, I wasn't, 100% myself in those relationships because I felt like I had to mask. It's not the worst thing to have lost those. I'm sad that I lost those.
Yeah.
However, I also recognize that like, that now has paved the way for me to build more aligned friendships.
But can we talk about that picture that I love?
Oh yeah, recently.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
so Katie just moved, and
I did just move. So I went. This is actually really reaffirming to the conversation about friendships. So also being someone who's never really felt seen by a lot of people and struggles with self-isolating and struggles to ask for help. I am the person that I would rather spend money to hire movers than to ask my friends because I'll feel like a burden. And I don't, because again, I had this upbringing where I was liked in a lot of circles, but not seen and not known. Yeah. I also don't think that people actually want to be my friend, which is not true. And I know that that's not true. Yeah. But that is just like a limiting belief that I have to.
Best.
It's a limiting belief that I constantly have to challenge myself on. So when it came to, okay, I'm, going through this breakup and I have to move and I'm like moving into a new place, I'm like, shit, like who am I gonna, like, how am I gonna do this? I have so much stuff I have to move and I can't lift a couch by myself. Like, I'm not as strong as I once was. And like, I still can't lift a couch by myself, even if I was. Like, the thing is just too damn big. So I'm like, how am I gonna do that? And I have a couple clients who have become really great friends, and they just kept reiterating, they're like, hey, we will help you if you need help. Like, they can see me, right? They're fabulous. I love them so much. But they can see me and they're like, no, we really mean this. We will help you if you need help. And then some coworkers, same thing, looked at me and they were like, hey, we mean this. Like, this is how you know that you're seen, right?
You, Katie, we're helping you.
Exactly. They're like, let us know when. And, it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, necessity requires this, that like, I actually do have to ask for help. I actually do need to put aside my, what is it called? Bias? I don't know. What is that? Like it's a limiting belief. It's just something that's been holding me back forever. That's not actually a true thing. But yeah, I do actually have to put that aside and just ask for help. And the world rallied, y'all. Holy fuck. Like,
we should, you should ask them, but we should post it on Instagram.
I know,
I love that picture so much.
I know. It's really sweet. So now that I've made this a long-winded story, I only asked a small handful of people, and every single one of those small handful of people said yes, and let me bring this person. They brought another person into the fold, and it was just like, the community was just like, they picked me up, and just put me in their little hands and said, hey, we're going to help you, and we carried me to the next spot. And it was just like, it was so legit, and also to brag on them. So we moved, this is how committed these people are. We moved me out of my old place, drove to the new place, and had me fully moved into the new place in an hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is insane. This is the power of community and the power of connection, and also the power of power lifters. Yeah, right. All of these people are strong.
Also the power of literal strength.
Yeah, I work at a gym, guys. Like, this is what that is. But after that experience, so this photo that Allie is referring to came once we finished unloading my place, and we're like, damn, that was so fast. And also, I was just so filled with gratitude. I'm like, I didn't have to overextend myself. Like, one of the first few times in my life that I didn't have to do that. I didn't feel like I was carrying everything on my shoulders by myself. I was actually able, I know, right? I know. It like still makes me emotional. And anywho, one of my coworkers had touched base with me a few days later and like checked in and was asking how I was doing. And they were like, it really was so meaningful for us to be able to help you. And to finally because like me personally, I will give and give and give and give, but I really struggle to ask for help. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to them and I was like, the amount of meaning that day had, just seeing that like, not only could I ask for help, but like people want to be in my life. Oh my God. Like I started crying when I was talking to the person. I was like, I didn't envision that, right? So my goal, of course, with being out of a relationship now and, being on my own, I'm like, I really want to make those connections and make them meaningful in my life because even when I'm in a relationship, in my previous relationship, one of the values that I had of that previous relationship is the person I was in a relationship with is very social. And is easy to connect with people. And that was like how I got my social fix was that partner of mine would easily bring people to us or would schedule things for us to go and do things with other people. So that's how I got my social fix. And now I'm like, oh, okay, this is a need that I need to cultivate within myself. Right. Is I need to make sure that I'm making connections with people. I can't just like rely on the surface level connections of people that I like kind of sort of know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. Love that. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so just some quick stats. 1 in 5 Americans, so that's 20% of Americans, have no close friends. So you are not alone if that is you. 20% is a lot. Friend networks peak around age 25 and decline steadily after. The most connected you're going to feel to a network of friends, right, is, well, maybe it's not most connected that you're going to feel, but how do I describe this? And like, how does this
The greatest breadth?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Like it's going to be easiest and the most natural for you to have a network of friends around age 25. And then after that, you're going to have to be more intentional to create that because it naturally declines. And then remote workers report more daily loneliness than in-office workers, which we could probably guess, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All of that to say that we got to be intentional. When you're a grown-ass adult, you got to be intentional if you want those friends, yo. So how can you be intentional? We're going to talk about it. So just a little bit. Why is it hard to make friends as an adult? So that you don't feel bad about yourself or embarrassed like I feel. We do not have these built-in social structures that we used to have of school. There's no daily lunch table. We don't have dorms, right? And so we are less likely to be able to regularly see other people and just naturally develop these connections. There's also time scarcity and mental bandwidth. So kids and work can compete with friend time. And you know, I do work. I don't have kids, but I agree. Like the time scarcity and mental bandwidth, it's like as you get older, there's just more responsibilities. I mean, like adulting is tiring and, you know, like we have things we need to do. And I think it's like, for me at least, in order to stay on top of everything, I feel like I have to have a routine, but then the routine kind of keeps me from the spontaneity I would need to make, you know, like to schedule like hangout time. And it's even harder when like you work from home, so you're already home. So it's like, oh my gosh. And then also with remote work, you don't have those like we're in the elevator together or like we're hanging out in the meeting before, you know, like a remote meeting on Zoom, that waiting is not hanging out. It's like weird, you know? It's so different when you're actually with people. And then there is a fear of rejection and feeling like you're socially awkward. And there is research that we underestimate how much others enjoy us. Katie.
Can confirm. I am the statistic.
Katie's like, turns out people like me.
Still hard to believe.
Still hard to believe, but I got a picture to prove it. Yeah, so friendship now takes a lot more intentionality. And listen, this blew my mind. Okay, so this guy named Dr. Jeffrey Hall from the University of Kansas in 2018 published a study that mapped out how relationships develop, like stages of a relationship based on time spent together. From being strangers to being acquaintances, you need 10 to 15 hours of interaction just to become an acquaintance. So like 10 to 15 hours. So that's a lot in my opinion to become an acquaintance. Then once you're an acquaintance, to become a casual friend, 30 hours. Like I'm just thinking about like what you need to do to like how much, I mean, yeah, obviously 30 hours is 30 hours, but it's also like you're not going to just hang out with someone for 30 hours. So it's like, where are you going to see them for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever? And then you have to do that 30 or 60 times before they become a casual friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, you see them at what, pickleball?
Yeah.
For an hour a week.
Yes.
So it takes over a year.
Yeah.
You're going, but then you live in Vermont as well, and you guys aren't playing pickleball in fucking January.
Well, we do indoor, but
oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great, but we haven't. I mean, it's kind of a bummer because of my migraines. I can't go very often because if I have a migraine or if I can tell that one is about to come on, I don't go because the lights are a trigger.
Oh no,
the overhead lighting. So anyway, yeah, it would take a year for me. So going from casual friendship to being a close friend, 50 to 100 hours.
That's wild.
Yeah. And the type of relationships, I mean, and actually, you know, maybe we're different. Like all of us listening here, we all have different goals for the friendships that we want to make. So maybe we are just looking for casual friends. Like, we're not necessarily wanting to be close. We're just like, okay, I just want a friend who I can like run once a week with and like do like a hobby together, you know, because we have friends for different reasons that meet different wants and needs. So that's fine. But 50 to 100 hours, if you want a close friend who you can like actually get together with, like I think of close friends as like you integrate them into your life. Whereas I think of a casual friend as like you kind of not leave your life, but you leave your everyday routine to like hang out with them. Whereas a close friend feels like they could come over and you're in your pajamas and you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
So 50 to 100 hours to get to that. Like, I'm about to put in some work, girl. You know?
It's a full-time job.
Yeah. And then going from close to best friends is around 200 or more hours. And I was like, well, that's why it worked for Katie and me, because we lived together.
So we were just sitting on the couch and like, all right, cool. Hour 1, we watched Lucifer. Hour 2,
no, hour 1 was I'm drawing diagrams, but yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, definitely. And also keep in mind, like, this, it's not like time spent with someone is the only factor that goes into how close you are with someone. Like, obviously, you can spend 200 hours with someone and be like, I cannot stand this person. You know, they're not your best friend. But this is what it takes when you have the other factors, like, that go into becoming a close friend or a best friend. Like, you also need all this freaking time. So crazy. So, what is the takeaway for y'all and for us? It's that you're not bad at friendship. It's that these systems that have made friendship easy have fallen away. But there are things that we can do. So how do you find and make these new friends? Recreate the conditions of childhood friendships, right? Back when there were these systems in place that made it easy, like school and T-ball, you know? So the conditions are repetition, routine, and proximity. Repetition, you're seeing them frequently. Yeah, over and over again. Routine kind of seems like the same thing to me, right? You're seeing them routinely. And then proximity is like you're near them, right? You're not seeing them routinely from the window of one building to the window of the building across the street. You know, you're like actually close to them. So join things that meet weekly or monthly. So like clubs, fitness classes, volunteer groups. I'm thinking of joining a running club because that's not something that is indoor. So there isn't the lighting that's going to cause a migraine, you know? So I'm like, okay, I could do a running club. I'm trying to figure out what other things I can do, but I think that might be a good place to start.
Yeah. Definitely. One thing I want to say, the difference between repetition and routine. The routine piece, I feel like it's something that you are actively choosing to integrate into your schedule.
It's intentional.
Yeah, whereas like repetition, like
could be the grocery store.
Exactly. Like you could go in there nonchalantly and not like have it as part of your structured life.
That's true. We're not friends with the cashier and we got proximity and repetition with them.
Exactly. But the routine of like, okay, well, I'm being intentional about going and doing this thing. And so I know intentionally I will see this person.
Yeah.
Not just happenstance.
Ooh, I should do like a hiking club. Yeah. I've also thought about like meditation groups or something. It's like basically, because when it comes to adulting is hard and we're busy and bandwidth is small. It's like, okay, well, what are the things that I want to integrate into my everyday life anyway, even if I'm alone? So it's like, well, I want to exercise. I want to meditate. I want to be outside. Maybe there's like some dog thing I could do.
Yeah. Book clubs.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh. So many book clubs, though. Whenever I hear about a good one, they're always closed.
What do you
They're
mean?
like full.
Oh.
Yeah, there are some book clubs that get like so close that they're like, we're not allowing any new people. Yeah. It's a thing.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I am okay with it because I think it makes sense if you're like super close with these people and you're like, okay, now we're talking about things that are like more vulnerable and we're just like, you know what I mean? Like, I think you're allowed to do that, but it's just a bummer for the people who didn't make it.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. But maybe I could start my own book club, but I don't even really know. Like, the only book clubs I've ever been a part of, like, a lot of the time we didn't even talk about the book. So, like, I don't really know how to facilitate that, but I could just look it up.
Yeah. My mom started a culinary club, like a cooking club.
Yeah.
Like they did like a monthly cuisine, like themed in terms of a region, or one month they did like fire and ice. And I'm just thinking like, okay, I bring that up to say, okay, well, what are your hobbies? What are things that you enjoy? And
Yes.
whether you have a social circle to do them with yet or not, how can you create a routine around that hobby that then could attract other people?
Yeah, yeah. I love the thinking about what are your values and what are the things that you want to incorporate into your life anyway, because then you're going to find people who have those values as well.
Yeah.
And one
you're
of
going
the
to go
things,
whether you know that
yeah,
there's someone there or not.
yeah. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, I would really like, I used to, when I was younger, I used to have friends who I would go for a run with after work multiple times a week, but I just don't have those anymore.
Yeah.
And it's because they have families. So I would love to find people who are making time to create that routine where they're doing it too, because then like we can maybe start running outside of the group as well.
Yeah. Well, and you have similar interests and similar priorities, and yeah.
Yeah, and it also shows like, because one of the things when I look back on, because you know maybe I'll find a partner this way too, but when I look back on my exes, one of the things that like I wanted but didn't make a non-negotiable, like it wasn't a necessary thing, was they didn't work out. And now as I'm getting older and I'm like when I was younger, I thought of working out more as like superficial. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't want to say superficial, but like what I mean is it didn't matter as much to your health because you were younger. But now that we're getting older, it's like, no, you literally like you have to exercise if you want to be healthy. And I think if you're exercising as an adult and you're maintaining that and you're like intentionally going to a running club, then it's like, no, you're making sure to incorporate that into your life. And I think that says a lot about your personality too. Like you looked up a running club, you went to that running club, you know, like it shows taking initiative. And those are some of the things that I really would like in a partner.
Yes. As I think about that too, so that is also a value of mine, is a lot of like someone who has similar priorities around being physically active, and whether that is structured exercise, like, strength training workout, or if that's, more flexible methods like hiking or paddleboarding or just like being outdoors and being active. Those are super important to me as well. And there's also a level of vulnerability that comes with that, like being willing to show your struggle. Because it's not like when you do a workout and if you're actually challenging yourself, it is not a graceful experience.
That's true. I was actually thinking about that. I'm like, I'm going to be running and sweating and like disgusting. Yeah.
Exactly. But like that is a very vulnerable position. And so like one, you have to be willing to show that vulnerable side. The person that you're around has to be willing to show your vulnerable side. So, I mean, I think that's too why when you see people who were on sports teams together, whether that's in high school, college, professional, etc., those bonds are so fucking strong.
Yeah.
And the vulnerability level, like you're trying something new, you're learning new things, you're failing along the way.
You're pushing showing yourself to your limit.
Exactly. Like the bond that happens through that is just so, I mean, you felt the same thing with pickleball, the people that you started meeting through pickleball.
Yeah, we were like, let's like just do this together in the beginning because we're like scared to play with other people. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's super vulnerable. And like that connection could be so strong. So I think finding some physical activity to create connection around could be really valuable for people.
Yeah. And some other ideas that are weekly are like cooking classes or some kind of like art school or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paint nights. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We have one near us that's called Brew Doodle. It's like a little beer and like doodle event
Can
every
you do
Wednesday.
that regularly?
Yeah, every Wednesday in Ocean Beach, apparently.
But so like the same people go?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't do it. One of my clients does it. That's how I know about it.
You like you become friends and you go to each other's houses and you're like, oh, I have that painting too.
I think it's actually like a venue. Oh wait, because you guys, I get it now.
It's okay. It's okay.
Wow.
It's all right. So yeah, regular interaction is literally the most important thing. So you got to be really intentional, y'all. Okay. Then you got to initiate, even if it feels weird. So you might feel like, I don't want to seem needy or like annoying. I will definitely feel like that. But again, research shows that people like us more than we think after the first meeting. And I think it's totally fine. Like, especially when you're doing something like repetitively, like after going the first time, I mean, I personally wouldn't ask anyone to hang out just because like I like to kind of get to know people over time before I decide if I want to hang out with them. Because our time is valuable, like don't need to hang out with people you don't really know and then find out that you don't really want to hang out with them. So I would usually take a little bit of time and then like once, like, let's say this running club, okay, I am starting to get to know someone. And then I'm like, oh, do you want to get coffee sometime? Or like, hey, it's supposed to be a beautiful day on this day. Like, do you want to run here? Or, I'm in Vermont. Like, do you want to go to this beautiful place and run there? Or, oh my gosh, you have a dog. We should get our dogs together. So just initiate and just put it out there. I mean, the worst thing they can say is no or yes, and then nothing happens, and that's fine.
Something I want to add to that, because I'm so guilty of falling into this. So let's say you start going to a running club. We're just going to use your example because it's pretty easy to follow. And the first like 3 to 4 weeks, you're like, yeah, I'm just trying to pick up people's vibe and whatnot. And that episode that we did about confidence, where we talked about like, hey, it's flexing a muscle. Like you have to practice in order to get the evidence that it'll work out. It's super nerve wracking, right? To approach someone and be like, oh, hey, yeah, I've seen you a few times. Like you seem like a really cool person. Would you want to like go grab a bite or something after this, like just casually, or get coffee sometime? And so you might avoid saying that a few times because you're trying to like gather the vibe of like, oh, do I think that I like this person or not? And then you get stuck in the, what's that called? Identity of, oh, I'm just typically chilling on my own in this group thing. Like going to the event is not necessarily enough. You do need to get a little bit out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so I would just encourage my fellow introverts to not get stuck in the, well, I've gone and no one's approached me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, if we're all on the same vibes of like, okay, people do tend to like us more than we think.
Yeah.
And we are generally all going to these events for the sake of community. Just put yourself out there. You got to flex the muscle. You got to stretch a little bit and say, ooh, this might be uncomfortable or nerve wracking for me. I've not done it recently or before. I'm just going to do it. It might feel weird. And if it doesn't go well, okay, it doesn't go well. Like, guess what? There's a bunch of other people at the running club. And if there's not, there's other running clubs. And if there's not, you can start one.
No, I mean, it's totally fine. And there are going to be people who, like, not everyone's going to stick.
Yeah.
So it's just like your focus is on planting seeds. And it does go back to that confidence episode because it's not about the outcome. It's about the action that you took to plant the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to initiate, y'all. Meetup.com is a really good place. Like even in Vermont where we don't have much going on, we got a lot of meetup groups. So you can go on there. They have every different thing that you can think of. There's Bumble BFF. Have you ever used that, Katie?
I have. I found it right towards the end of my online dating experience before I got into my last relationship. And I don't know, the thing I'll say about that is
you're in San Diego.
Yeah, that's true. That is a frame of reference. I'm in San Diego, so
Southern California.
Yeah, on the one hand, we have a fuck ton of people here in a very small space. So you also have like lots of, I'm going to say inventory. That's the worst word to use as possible.
Very define.
You know what I'm saying, right? There's a lot of people here, a lot of prospects.
We got a lot of friend fishes in the sea.
Exactly. And there's kind of like a stereotype that goes along with Southern California friendships. Is that they're not very deep, which I get it. And I've met a lot of great people here.
Yeah.
I've not met them on Bumble.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny because I feel like my experience in San Diego was like either people were so I could not get to know them or get past the surface at all. And there's a lot of flakiness of like, oh my God, yeah, we should hang out, and then not hanging out. Like they don't want to when you follow up, which I've heard is very common. A lot of my clients in San Diego say that that's the case too. And so it was either that or it's like the best people that I love so much. There's like no in between in my experience. I'm sure there is an in between, but I did not experience it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like here it's just because there's such a demand on time because we literally have access to everything. Mm-hmm. Like everything. So at the drop of a dime, you could go, to the beach one day, and somehow there seems to be a very large number of people that don't have jobs that just seem to be living the life of being able to like just go surfing all day every day, or like just peace out. And I don't know, but regardless, I'm just saying that we have access to so many things. So then the access to friendships becomes like, it's not scarce.
Yeah. For me, I was on Bumble BFF in Vermont when I was a little younger, and it just wasn't my vibe. I think it just feels like online dating, except for friends.
It does.
It's not the vibe. Like I prefer meeting people in person and having it be not so much pressure, because meeting someone on Bumble BFF and then getting together, it's like, okay, let's get to know each other. Whereas like going to a running group and just being like, okay, well, I could just run and not talk to anyone today, or I can run and like talk to someone and then stop talking to them. Like there isn't all this pressure, and like the bandwidth that drains me so fast to be like, okay, you're like on a date with someone basically. And like, it just doesn't feel like a chill, laid back way to get to know someone. And that's kind of what I want.
Well, and to add to the pressure piece of it, it's bonding over an activity versus bonding over a person that you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like bonding over an activity, you already know you have a shared interest. Yeah. And you already know you both like it. Like whether the person remains there or not, it's not going to affect the next outcome of the potential friendship or relationship. Yeah. When it comes to something like Bumble BFF, you are meeting someone with no context whatsoever. Like there's nothing that you already know. Oh yeah, I vibe with them in this specific thing, or we share this similar interest. Because like even if you go to a running club, it's like, okay, you're gonna kind of like visualize the people around you of like, oh yeah, does their attitude towards running match my attitude towards running? Yeah. If they're like begrudging and really frustrated and like, oh, this is awful, yada, yada. Yeah. Even though you both are at a running club, you're not going to gravitate towards that person because your attitude towards running is like, yes, I'm so excited to move my body. I'm so excited to be outside. Like, you know that those two things aren't compatible off the bat. Or the
person who's like obsessed with their time.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so much subtle information that you're getting about someone's character by observing in an activity. Versus, oh yeah, I'm just seeing what they self-report. Yeah. On a not dating app.
Yeah. You know what I just thought about? Rock climbing. We have 2 indoor rock climbing places, but I don't know if like, do people just go there with their friends and then it'd be weird to talk to them?
I don't know. We were gonna go. We should have gone.
No, but maybe there's probably something that's like beginner rock climbers where it's like a regular.
Remember, your friend told us about it. It was like there's a free night. There's a free night. It was a free night either I think it was once a month. There's a free night. Okay. That it's like a newbie thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll look into that. My grip strength is a lot better now. So
I love that.
Maybe that'll
for you.
Maybe that'll help. Okay, so other ideas for just kind of like networks or like community resources. If you, so in San Diego, I know there's Nextdoor app. In Vermont,
Yeah.
we have Front Porch Forum. But whatever your community kind of networking thing is, uh, just be on there because sometimes there you do learn about like events or things that are going on that you can do.
Yeah.
Let's see, co-working. You can belong to a co-working space, and it's not something I can do because my clients need
Privacy.
confidentiality,
Yeah.
but like, hey, I'm here with all my coworkers. Tell us about your trauma.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that fucked up thing that happened to you. So I can't do that, but I think like I would definitely do that though. Like we have such a cool co-working space here in Burlington, and
Oh,
oh
really?
my God, I wish that I could belong to it because there's just it just seems like such a cool community and just a really cool place to be. And yeah, I wish I could do that, but yeah, belonging to a co-working space where you're seeing the same people, right? It's that repetition, routine, and proximity. You're getting all of that. So, and you all, if you're co-working, you either work remotely for a company or you're an entrepreneur. So you already have some things in common. And there's often events that co-working spaces put on. Ours, the one in Burlington does. So that could be a good idea. Also, parenting groups. That's a huge thing. Like a lot of my friends have, like mom friends, have met other mom friends through mom groups because for parents, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to bring my kids, you bring your kids, you know what I mean? And like you can talk about the stage of life you're in because like it is like, it really does seem like parenting and kids, it gets all consuming. And so it's like, all right, I'm in this. Let's be in this together. We're in the same boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that can be really good. And there's probably, you can even just Google probably like mom group or parenting group and then your location and you'll find stuff. But I'm sure there's stuff on Facebook too for like certain
Yes.
neighborhoods or areas. Like my friend in Alameda in the Bay Area, she met so many super close friends and they all hang out. And it was just from this friend group in like one neighborhood. And they're all super close. And then their kids can hang out. And yeah, so I think that's great.
I would add to our list volunteering as well.
Yeah, no,
Volunteering.
volunteering's great.
Yeah. Especially like, I mean, political activism is like a big thing right now. So if you have a very strong political affiliation, that might be a really easy way to bond with someone. And then you know you have similar values. And there's so many things happening right now, like silent protests and that sort of thing. So you know that people are connecting.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, and then some of the acquaintances that you already had. So, like when we think back to how long it takes to become an acquaintance and then to become a casual friend, there might be people that you are already acquaintances with, or people that you're already casual friends with, or you're on that spectrum between like you're not a stranger, but you're not yet fully an acquaintance. You can just put some more effort and time and intention into like seeing them more often and maybe let's hang out, you know? So those people that you already have, maybe it's like neighbors or coworkers, or people that you sometime connect with at the gym. Although, you know, people say gym and people say fitness classes, but I have I've never become friends with someone in a fitness class, and at the gym, don't fucking talk to me. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
mean, but I don't want you to. Like, I'm in the zone. What are your thoughts on that as a fitness person
It's
in that arena?
great question. As far as fitness classes, I feel like it makes sense for things like Zumba or UJam, like dance-based classes, because there's already an element of like loose and fun and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The like body pump and body combat, like those are a little bit more intense. Like you're really kind of focused on yourself. So I don't see those creating a social atmosphere as much. And it's really instructor based. Instructors that are super outgoing and super involved and engaged, they tend to bring people together. They will pair people up and have them challenge each other. Like they'll create like partner, like I've seen that happen and people become connected that way. And then because they're coming at the same time, because that's the benefit of a fitness class is it's like, okay, if, you know, we're always coming to the noon class, we know we have aligned schedules generally. And so after a while, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't see you last week. What was going on? And so that's like how you would end up building connection. As far as like gym, just you're going to work out, I definitely think that's harder. When I worked out at a traditional big box gym, it did happen eventually that like I started to make friends with people there. I have a bias though, is because I was also the manager at the gym that I was working at. So like people saw me whether I was working out or not. So like there is a level of like familiarity. So the people that I ended up making friends with, I don't know if I would have ended up making friends with them outside of, okay, I work here, right? So they know me already. And so then becoming more approachable is easy if they've seen me that much more, right?
Right.
But like, okay, asking for a spot or like being willing to ask a form question but it only happens during the downtime, right? You know, you don't see it if you're like a very cardio focused gym personnel because like you're on your cardio equipment and you're in one spot. If you're doing, you know, a strength circuit, well, you might be asking someone like, oh, hey, can I work in with you? Because they're using
Oh my gosh, I don't even know all of that like etiquette. I do strength at home because I'm like so scared of doing it at the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like people like share machines and stuff and I'm like, I don't even know what the etiquette is, but maybe we'll do an episode on that.
Yeah, we could try. Yeah. But yeah, it is such a different world and like asking for spots and that sort of like the gym community can be really supportive and you can find some really great people there. But I do find that people who go to the gym for their exercise are generally loners. And that's not like a bad thing. I don't mean that as like they're not willing to engage. I just mean like they're going there for their me time, right?
Yeah,
most people aren't going there.
They're a loner in that moment, not like in life.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying like they're going for the sake of themselves.
No, that's how I am when I go to the gym.
They're not going typically.
I'm like, I have this much time. I want to get in and like get these things done, and then I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So if someone started talking to me, I'd be like, this is annoying.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's not an intent of I'm going here to meet people. It's a byproduct of I'm going here for myself and I just happened to meet people. That's what I find more frequently with the gym.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Whereas like you could do other hobbies and be like,
your gym is also especially great. Like it's just it sounds so much better than like every other gym. Like it sounds like so community oriented and also the way that you do your job anyway is very much about like it's deeper than just these like physical goals, you know? And so and I know also like you create community too there. So yeah, I think it's so different. Like I've never experienced a group instructor like you.
Well, and I think that is also a difference is the difference between a big box gym, and by big box gym, I mean like your 24-hour fitness, your LA fitness, your crunch fitness, like things that cater to multiple types of fitness styles versus your niche, the boutique studio. So like your F45s, your Orange Theory, your Renegade, or just like my gym is a it's a one location. It's the only location we have. We're very community oriented. Because of that, because we're not like managing a brand over multiple locations. It's not corporate. So the smaller your scope, the deeper the community can run.
Yeah.
Because the people that are going there are loyal to that one specific location.
Right. Yeah. And you all do events and stuff. And
we do like a monthly game night. We do Spartan events together. We'll do like a trans meetup sort of thing. We'll do workshops. And our our entire model is based off of building community, though. Our classes are capped at 6 people.
That's what I mean by your gym is.
It's different, yeah. But there are places like that. Like, at least in Southern California, I've seen multiple other locations that are like that. They're just tailored around a different environment, like a different niche market.
Yeah.
I've found there's a brand that I really enjoy, P360, that I went to for a while that I really liked. But the community aspect was you're forced to share equipment. Like, it was always groups of 2 to 3. So you're forced to get to know people. It's super nerve-wracking at first because it's like, okay, I have to, like, I don't know any of these people, right? And so I just kind of have to work in. But it, like, gets you over that hump. It was really helpful for me of, like, okay, just being willing to ask, like, oh, hey, can I work in with you guys? Yeah. And then you just start talking to people over time and getting connected.
That's cool. Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you for that. All right. So here are just some things to think about with friendship and maintaining friendship. Friendship does deserve space on your calendar, so you do want to incorporate it into your routine. So it actually, like, even if you don't yet have a specific person that you see on a routine basis, you can still schedule, like, this is time in my schedule that I'm putting to the side for getting together with someone. And, you know, hopefully I can fit someone in there. If I can't find anyone who's available at that time, then, you know, I can use that for something else. Or maybe it's like, then I'm going to use that to, I don't know, do some kind of like friendship connecting thing. Like maybe it's some community thing that you're doing. But just create that time. And once you do start hanging out with people and you're feeling like this is good, you can ask like, hey, do you want to hang out like every other this day or, you know, whatever. And it's okay. People can say no. And you can even ask it in a way that gives them an easy out. Like, I totally get that some people are way more spontaneous. And so you might not be into this, but I would love to have just like a regular time that we hang out every other week. And, you know, we can always reschedule it, but it's just nice to have it on the calendar. And if you're not into that, that's fine too, you know?
Yeah.
Make the first move often. Don't keep score. Studies show that people love being checked in on. They just don't always initiate. So I tend to, like, I'll check in on people, and I have some friends who are busier than usual because of young kids or because they just got married or because of like business, like the business they own or whatever. And I'll reach out a few times and initiate and be like, yeah, I'd love to hang out, you know? And if they don't get back to me, I'm like, well, the ball's in their court. But this is telling me don't keep score. And I'm not keeping score in like the sense of like, you know, they're doing something wrong or anything like that. But I guess I'm just like, oh, well, they would initiate if they wanted to. And I think it's just because I think this is abnormal. I literally will be like, if I haven't seen a specific person in a while, I will be like, okay, I have to make sure that I'm like, it's like on my to-do list to figure out a time to hang out with them. And I think a lot of people aren't like that. I think a lot of people are just like, I'm just trying to live my life and survive. And then I realize like 3 months have gone by.
Yeah, so I'm guilty of being the 3 months have gone by person for sure.
Yeah.
That was true in my family dynamic though. So it for me, I'm like, oh, well, my feelings haven't changed. Wait. It's, in terms of like not seeing someone or not talking to someone for a long time. Because I didn't have a lot of close family connections growing up.
So what was the same though?
Meaning my feelings towards the person was the same. Like when I have friends that I like haven't talked to in a year, we could pick up the phone tomorrow and our conversation would be the same as if we had spoke yesterday.
No, I'm the same too with friends in that way, but don't you want to hang out with them?
I guess for those people, I don't like live near them.
Oh, yeah.
Although there are some of them, one of them comes to mind immediately that we both just like, our life is just not time-wise compatible. Like we are both just kind of living our life. And then like every few months we will check in and be like, oh yeah, how you doing? And like once a year, it's just whenever it happens.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey, you want to go grab brunch?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Does that impact the closeness of the relationship? Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
But it's not to say that like.
But it's still like, it doesn't have to be super close. Like that can be just good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not every friend has to be a close friend for sure.
Yeah. That's such a good point. Such a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's funny too, because it's like with you, I never worry if I'm bothering you because, and sometimes I don't know if I'm bothering you, but I'm being annoying, like according to my personal preferences of how my friends are with me, I'm being annoying toward you. Like if someone was being that way toward me, it would annoy me. I don't know how you feel about it, but like I know it would annoy me, but I'm always like, yeah, but like Katie, there's no fucking mask here.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is, I mean, you're not gonna judge me. And also like if I legitimately was like impacting your life in a negative way or like reaching out too much or like it was stressing you out, you would just tell me. And I trust that you would tell me.
That one.
Yeah.
Such a big part of it is like boundaries and knowing that the person that you're in a friendship with maintains healthy boundaries and maintains healthy sense of self. And like we both do that. So I don't have to expect you to emotionally regulate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I know that if you're sending me a bunch of messages and it's overwhelming me, I'm just going to put my phone on do not disturb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, and
no,
then
like said in the nicest way possible, but like, yeah.
And then I'm just like, when I have the capacity, I will come back and I will touch base and I'll like check in and we'll.
I know. There are times I blow up your phone and then I like just keep texting you for days and shit. But it's like because I don't want to like lose the thought. But I know that like me texting you more isn't going to make you be like, oh my God, like now she's texted me more and like there's so much pressure because like literally you could just like not reply for a week and I'll be like, oh, haven't heard from Katie in a while. Like we were talking more frequently, but then I'll be like, yeah, so she must be busy or she must need alone time or like, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like one of many very reasonable understanding reasons that I'm 1,000,000,000% fine with.
And has nothing to do with you.
And has nothing to do with me.
Exactly. And that's the secure attachment, right?
Totally. And if I ever like needed you, right? Like if I was ever like, yo, I'm having a fucking moment. Like I have told you, yo, I'm having a panic attack. Like I will be fine on my own, but it would be better if I wasn't. And you're like, I'm at a baseball game right now, but I am leaving the bleachers currently and I will call you. But if you had said, like if you had just not replied or if you had said no, I can get through it. So I think that's it too. Like it's the you said it was the boundaries and the trust, but it's like no, I think it's also knowing that like I think you did say self-regulate or emotionally regulate.
The ability to self-regulate and like just general maturity.
Because it's like me quote unquote needing you isn't me needing you to live or to like it's not, it's never a crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And if it was a crisis, like oh my God, I don't even want, like the worst thing, I just had an intrusive thought of the worst thing that could ever happen. But if the worst thing that could ever happen happened, I mean, I would fucking call you 1,000,000,000 times in a row. But like that is a very unusual, exceptional circumstance. Do you know what I mean?
And because I know that you're a healthy person, I
would call someone else.
Yeah. But also like because we have a healthy relationship and because I know that you're a healthy and grounded person.
Yeah.
If you were calling me 1,000,000,000 times, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
it's really important.
That's true.
Like the boundaries are right there, you know?
True.
It's not like you're calling me 1,000,000 times.
No, you're so right.
Because you dropped an egg on the floor.
It's like the opposite of the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
You know? It's like the girl who was honest and emotionally regulated and respected boundaries and is reasonable. So when she's freaking the F out, like you actually are like, oh shit. Yeah. No, totally. Oh my gosh. Wow. Anyway, so people do love being checked in on. So I check in on Katie a lot and I never feel like I'm annoying her. Or actually, I'm lying. I might be annoying her, but I don't give a fuck because she can handle it and decide what she's going to do or not do. But with my other friends, I'm like, oh, I've reached out to them like 2 or 3 times and like, you know, it's been like a back and forth, but it's been like, yeah, I want to get together, but then I don't hear from them. And it possibly is that they're just so freaking crazy busy.
Yeah.
And like they have said things like that.
And it's tempting for us to go down the rabbit hole of like assuming that because they haven't reached out that they're not interested in maintaining a friendship, but that's not our emotional work to do.
Exactly.
It's not our responsibility to try to figure that out. That's actually their responsibility to communicate that if that's the case for them. So you can just let that go.
Yep. Yep. Thanks for that reminder because I not always, but more recently have believed that and acted on that. But in my last relationship, I think it kind of effed me up a little bit because they expected for me to like read their mind, even though I explicitly told them I wouldn't do that. But, you know, it's like repetition leads to internalization. So it's like something I'm re-unlearning. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. All right. So also friendships ebb and flow. So just normalize those shifts. You know, you're each in different seasons of your life, and that's okay. There doesn't need to be any guilt. It's totally fine. And if you do want to have like a more explicit conversation about it, because you're the type of person who likes to be on the same page, you can say something like, you know, I love you. And I know that life like has pulled us in different directions. Like, you know, we have very different lives. And so I know our friendship looks different now. I'm totally okay with that. Like, what would fit best for you? Or like how do you think our friendship would look if it just like fit really well for you? You know, like that kind of stuff. Research shows that novelty increases bonding. So trying new things together is a good way to bond. I can totally see that. And just overall, I think this is just kind of the overall central point of this episode is that we have to let go of the idea that friendships should be effortless. So when you're putting effort in, whether it's trying to find new friends or trying to make that person that you found a closer friend, or it's maintaining your friendship, putting effort in at any time during your friendship, before, during, is not a red flag, right? Like effort is actually a main ingredient. Oh, okay. So the last thing that we're going to talk about is how to not become the friend who's the therapist, right? This is for the selfies who tend to lose themselves and leave their seats and end up in these one-sided friendships or relationships. So just reminders, offer your presence, but not your problem solving. You can also offer emotional validation, but you're not going to fix it, right? So you can be the mirror, you can be a clear mirror, but you're not going to rescue them. You're not going to do for them, right?
And this is true in relationships too. I just want to reiterate that 12 times over. It's so true in relationships.
Yeah.
Not just friendships. Don't be the rescuer for your romantic partner. That's codependency.
Yeah, totally. Because it's like when you're the type of person who's like, but I can see the solution, or like, I'm capable of doing this, let me just do it. It does set a precedent. And so, you know, I think if it's one of those things where the precedent in your relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, where it's like over time, through consistency, you've seen that this person does do these things on their own and take care of themselves. And sometimes like you want to do something for them, like totally, but not because you have to, because they can't function, right? Yeah. Because that's what leads to that codependence. So you kind of want to keep like redirecting them back to like, if they're like, what do I do? Or like, you know, or, here are all the reasons that everything is going awful. Instead of you getting into like problem solving mode, you can just kind of be reflective with them and say, oh, it sounds like there's a lot of barriers there. You know, are there things like, are you planning on just accepting this, or are you going to try to figure out how to move through the barriers? You know, just like kind of try to stay on the outside of it, not getting into the actual problem solving.
I will also say, just like offering this thought, if you're someone who previously has been a rescuer in friendships and relationships, and now you're trying to create new friendships and relationships, especially with more self-centered people, when you approach that friendship or relationship as a rescuer, it can actually be a really kind of a turnoff to other self-centered people because they might feel like you don't trust their judgment and that you don't think that they can handle things on their own. So although you previously may have been in friendships and relationships with people who maybe did actually struggle to handle things on their own and like quote unquote needed you, when you start building more aligned and self-centered friendships and relationships, it might be an offense. So don't feel like you have to continue to be in that role. Like it actually would be beneficial to both parties for you to not be in that role.
Yeah. No, for sure. Well said. Super important. Also do fun things, not just having conversations about your feelings or emotional venting. Like do things together, shared experiences, go for a walk, go to a museum, meal prep together, anything that's like an activity or fun. You can share like resources. So you could say, oh yeah, I've heard of a book about that. Or like, why don't you Google some books about that? That's always been really helpful for me, or oh yeah, that kind of thing. Therapists are so helpful for that because that's the kind of thing that like you really need to process and go deep about. Or like these are some of the skills or like things that I had to learn that really helped me.
Yeah. And like hear the difference between like what here as in, hey listener, hear the difference. Hey selfie, hear the difference between what Allie is saying right now of, oh, try Googling that. Not, hey, I Googled it for you. Here's the list that comes up. Or, oh, yeah, I bet a therapist would be really helpful for that. Not, hey, here's a therapist that you should go see and when their availability is, and this is what you need, in terms of insurance, and like, don't schedule it for them.
Yeah.
Like there's a stark difference. You can share a tool by presenting an idea, not, oh, hey, you have to actually go pick the tool out of the toolbox and put it in their hand.
Exactly. And then teach them how to use it. And then when they say I can't use it, then you say, oh, I'll just hammer the nail then. And then next time they say, well, I don't know how to use it. So, yeah. All right. And then you want to model boundaries. I mean, boundaries, right? So you don't want to overextend in order to, feel like you don't want to overextend because you feel pressure to. That's going to set a precedent. So you want to have those boundaries with yourself, right? Even if they're not explicitly trying to get you to overextend, you recognize that that would take you out of your seat. So you're not going to do it, right? And then let your no just be a no. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to provide an explanation. They don't need to understand why not, right? And again, rejection is protection. If they don't like it, that's okay because we want to lose people who aren't going to respect our boundaries, right? I mean, Katie and I just talked about how much easier our friendship is and how much like more ourselves we can be because we know the other person has boundaries. like it's so much less stressful.
Regarding the don't overextend to earn closeness, this is something that I feel like we do because we struggle to know our worth just as who we are.
Yeah.
Like we have believed that our worth comes from the acts that we do for other people, like acts of service for other people, or like what we can bring to a relationship, as opposed to, I just like them because I like them, because like they're a cool person to be around. Like we, resonate on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
You want friendships and relationships that you just like being around them. There's not expectation, right? And especially if you're really struggling with loneliness and you're craving that connection, it can be so tempting to be like, oh, but I have all these things that I could like be the solution for them. And then they'll see value in me because I've helped them. That's not the friendship that you want. That's not something that will serve you. It's actually just you serving them.
Yeah.
So if you feel the desire and the need to constantly give in order to earn that closeness, that means it's not actually a friendship that's based in your worth.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because it's actually not you that they would end up valuing. If they did end up valuing you, it's actually what you can do for them that they value. And that doesn't feel good. And this comes back to self-esteem. So go listen to that episode if you haven't yet. But it's like you align your behavior with your values, right? Not these conditions of worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you align yourself with your values, then other people who share those values are naturally just going to click with you.
Yeah.
So it's just this natural, I vibe with you. And I vibe with you, like who you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, that's great. In summary, in short, friendship in adulthood is not effortless at all. But it's totally possible with some intention. And remember that proximity, repetition, routine, that's really the number one thing. And then those reps is what's going to get you that time so that you can build these relationships with people. And you're going to click with people because you're being who you are and you're aligning yourself with your values. And so when you're self-centered and they're self-centered and who you are, yourselves, vibe, great. But you do need to put that effort in.
If you're someone that's been listening to this and you're like, oh man, this resonates with me and I really want to put this into practice, figure out where you are in that journey, right? Are you at the step of like, okay, I don't have any acquaintances, I don't have any close friends, and I need to start that process. So maybe your first step this week is, okay, what one day routine can you add? What time can you carve out to say, I'm going to make this time to either join a club, to try to connect with more people. Like this is the time in my week. So it's a regularly occurring thing. So that might be step one. Step two might be, okay, find the thing. What new hobby, what activity you're going to pursue in a community-based situation. And if you're someone that's farther along in that journey, then maybe you already have these opportunities to connect with people and you just need to take that next step, or you have acquaintances that you want to become closer with. Okay, draft that mental script of what am I going to ask them? How am I going to ask this person to, let's see if we can hang out. Let's try to build a closer connection and create that mental script so that this week you can plan it and say, all right, let's make it happen.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. Go listen to the confidence episode because you can apply that to this, right? You can become more confident in initiating.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. All right. How do we want to end it? Go make friends, everybody.
I don't know. The only thing that comes into my brain is the SpongeBob episode. F is for friends who do stuff together.
Wait, what are the other letters?
U is for you and me. N is for anywhere at any time at all. Down here in the deep blue sea.
Oh my gosh.
Unless you're plankton, in which case it was like F is for fire that burns down the whole town. U is for uranium bombs. N is for no survivors.
Wait, are there other ones? Like, does Sandy have one?
Oh no, I don't know. It was just
that's who I would be. I'd be Sandy. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, guys, go have some fun and make some friends.
Love it.
Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Follow us on Instagram at selfcentered.pod or connect with us at selfcenteredthepod@gmail.com.
Stay self-centered, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.